It's a pleasure to be here. I see a lot of friends, faces. Hi, Jackie, and many folks who came out to listen today. We appreciate you being here. I'm a big guy on metrics. You know, there's another one. Dr. Barron, thank you for coming. So metrics and marketing are really important to me. So I can tell you, the last time I had lunch here, which was 2 meetings ago, within a week I had 3 business deals from this group. All right. So this is the highest return on investment hour and a half you'll spend. And I didn't realize that when I accepted Dave's invitation the first time to come. So I'm a big believer in what he's doing. And based on that ROI, I asked for an opportunity. If you were looking for a speaker, I'd love to speak because maybe I can get 3 more business deals, right? So it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Austin Boyd and speaking to you today on behalf of Energy, and have some interesting surprises to share as well as part of today's pitch. So today's pitch is one that I give frequently around Huntsville called Innovation in 3D. And I want to speak to you today about how you can take a product to market when all you have to start with is an idea. We specialize at Energy in the development of new products, starting literally with the back of a napkin and taking it all the way to an end cap at Walmart, which is a lot of fun to do. And if you've ever had an idea you want to launch, we're the place to see. So, Joe, let's go to the first slide. Energy, for the last 11 years, almost 12 years now, has been based out of the Martin Stamping and Stove plant, which is on Governor's Drive. Everybody knows where Blue Plate is, so I just tell people I'm a block west of Blue Plate, and they got it nailed. And we originally were founded around being an exhibit and conference display company, but we have gradually moved over the years into being a product development company. We had the product development early, but as the market changed, we decided to be dynamic and shift with the market. So we've shut down those exhibit and conference services that you might have used with us in the past, and we're exclusively a product development company, which means that we're responsible for product engineering. That's I want to invent a thing to go around the outside of an iPhone so it doesn't break when I drop it. Okay, that's the engineering of an iPhone skin. We do rapid prototyping, which is make me one of these things to go around my iPhone. We just recently did one for Lance Armstrong and the Livestrong Foundation. We do the technical documentation, that is, sell me the drawings for the iPhone skin so I can go into production. And we do product strategy development. So I want to sell these iPhone skins to people who want to stop breaking their iPhones. So how would I do that? How would I link up with Apple, or how would I get them in a store? So engineering, prototyping, documentation, and strategy are those 4 fundamental elements of taking a product to market. We are now focused exclusively in that market. And today, you'll be the first people to hear we have a big surprise, which is we're no longer Energy. We've been acquired by a company called L-Sync. So this is the first group we've talked to, other than launching Dave's article that came out yesterday on the net. L-Sync used to stand for Leadership Strategies Incorporated, and now is a 5-letter acronym that just is L-Sync, and it is the combination of a company that was responsible for doing competitive market and business intelligence, competitive market and business strategy work, linked up with a company that was doing product development. It's such a perfect fit for us that we decided to put our forces together, and now we're 45 people all focused around strategy and product development. And here's the way it works. L-Sync was in the business of analyzing markets and determining what type of direction a market's going in. That's called market intelligence. Building a business strategy around the direction that market's going. And then when they'd build a strategy, and they might walk into a commercial firm that was in the product business, they'd recommend you need to be doing this kind of a product. And that's as far as they could go. And Energy, on the other hand, we're in the business of taking your idea off the tip of a napkin, taking it all the way up through the prototype and the manufacturing, and then we'll develop a strategy for you. But our strategy is really not based on a whole lot of market intelligence. It's based upon our understanding of how to manufacture. But we didn't ever have that ability to go into the competitive intelligence, competitive strategy world. Well, it turned out it's just a perfect fit. They had 1.5 puzzle pieces. We had 1.5 puzzle pieces, and now we're 3. So this is one of those situations where 1 + 1 really does equal 3. We have not changed anything we're doing. The same people doing the same products in the same ways also join forces with a very powerful strategy firm. And it's a woman-owned firm, so we're able to do some things in the federal market that we could not do before. So now,
go on, may I lead the applause? Congratulations.
tell you, I haven't slept much since November when we first started working on this. So we're now an intelligence and strategy company doing product development, full scope of engineering services, and strategic communications. That's helping you to position your message in the market. And I tell lots of people, a product without a message will not sell. It's that simple. Next slide. So here's what we do. The innovation in 3D is a process whereby you can take an idea and actually take it to market, and you can hold it, and you can do it very quickly. And I'm going to walk you through how we do that. A lot of these slides don't have any words on them. They just have pictures. So this is a sit back and watch and have fun. A lot of folks say when they come to Energy, and Jackie Shipe with the International Services Council has done this, it's like going to Disneyland. You get a chance to see people coming up with new stuff all the time. If you take the piece that we recently became part of through LSync, we can, let's say I have an idea for, I want to be in the counter-narcotics market. I want to be helping out the government in counter-narcotics. So the market intelligence says that I have this particular problem that I cannot seem to solve. And then the business strategy says, based on that market intelligence, which has not been solved by anybody else, I could theoretically build a product that fits inside this technical niche, inside this cost niche, and inside this performance niche. Okay, those three dimensions of the requirements. And if I could build that thing, I could maybe go off and sell it and make some money. I mean, it's all about making a profit anyway, right? So with those two pieces that come out of the analysis by LSync, we then, in the old Energy, launch into what we call the innovation in 3D process. Those 6 pieces are to ideate. Literally, it's idea turned into a verb. So we're going to sit around the table and we're going to blue sky some great thoughts. And you've all done that, whether you're in a car talking to your spouse or you're sitting around the office working with some friends. That ideation process is really critical to begin this new idea and launch it off. Then the design process is literally drawing the pictures, building the CAD, becoming able to take that idea out of your head and put it on a computer screen, or if you need to, on a piece of paper. Prototype is where you take that idea off paper and turn it into 3 dimensions, where you actually are able to build a product in 3 dimensions that you had previously in CAD or on paper. Then you have to analyze it. You have to ask, well, does this thing that I've done, that I've built, does it work? Does it break? Does it submerge where it's supposed to submerge? Is it waterproof? Does it meet all the requirements that I'm supposed to meet? And then you have to document it, because the job's not over until you sign the paperwork, right? You've got to finish the paperwork. And documentation may be something as simple as a drawing. It may be something as complex as a doors requirements analysis for a federal customer who wants to see it documented in triplicate, okay? And then you launch it. Whether you're doing a commercial product or you're doing a government product, you always launch something. You're designing a missile system, you launch it as MLRS. You're making an iPhone skin, you launch it as a little yellow iPhone skin for Lance Armstrong. So we as LSync, not as Energy, offer expertise across that entire spectrum. And what makes us unique is that LSync was the regional leader in business strategies for certain types of companies, and we were the regional leader in product development. And now we're the only company that we can find nationwide who puts all the competitive and market intelligence together with the product development, which is a really nice place to be. It gives us an in-house, one-stop shop capability. That means that you can do things more quickly and economically than you could in other places. I have a term I call production momentum. In many product development worlds, this guy will build the requirements, and then this company will build the design, and then this company will do the prototype, and then this company will do the manufacturing, and then that company will build the strategy. Well, in our house, you can do it all in one place, so you're not constantly flipping from company to company and going through different levels of interpretation. It's a nice place to be. Joe? So I'm going to take you through an innovation in 3D. I truly do want to go penetrate, theoretically, that counter-narcotics market. And so my market intelligence and my business strategy are built around the fact that there's all these bad dudes who are moving all this bad stuff. And no matter how hard I try to beat them, we're losing the war on drugs. And so I make a decision that, and this is a real-life customer, that I need a low-cost, proliferable, long-lived narcotics detection solution. Now, I work with Mike Barron on some narcotics detection devices, not for our own personal use, but so that other people could use them. So, working with this customer, I now know that there's a market, and if I could get the product out there, off I'd go. So the first step after the market intelligence leads to a business strategy is to start the ideation process. Next slide. So the ideation process is we all sit around the table and we say, boy, it would really be nice if I had something as simple as a small device I could strap to a tree or to a fence post and I could leave it behind. It would take pictures of bad guys when they went by and it would tell me that they were there. And I would be able to detect perhaps even that they had some bad stuff with them. Well, it turns out that is technically feasible because we learned that through our market intelligence activity and our technology development. So now we sit around that ideation process and we come up with what we call a number of conceptual designs. In the conceptual design process at Energy, we literally go through a whole bunch of different ideas, and for this particular customer, we said, okay, you want something like an R2-D2 strapped to a fence post? Well, that's item D. Maybe we give you something we can lay on the ground and it has a solar cell charging device, and that's item A. And maybe there's some others that are a little bit more rugged and you can strap them, but they don't look quite so glossy, not so glitzy. They're a little bit more functional. They're a little bit more military. That'd be item B and C. Well, typically for our customers, we'll give them 3 or 4 or 5 options, and we ask them to pick one concept so we can move forward with it economically down to a preliminary design. You don't want to take 5 ideas to preliminary design. You spend an awful lot of money. Let's go buy 5 different Volvos, drive them for a year, and figure out which one we like the best. Bad idea, right? Well, it's the same way in product development. So once you have come up with this product, you say, I'm going to take that item B approach, or was it C? I can't remember. I'm going to now go from a concept to a design. So in the design, I have to actually design those physical parts that give me the connections to make this particular product. So first of all, I do it in CAD. It has no dimension to it. And I say, I like that idea. Let's put it all together. So I go from a preliminary design to a detailed design. The design detailing process actually put dimension to those walls and thickness and durometer hardness to particular surfaces and so forth. And once I have that, it's time to actually create it. Now the beauty of our business is most of the products people want to build nowadays are predominantly composed of some sort of plastics. And so we can go from an idea very quickly to either metal or plastic. And if we do in plastic, we can actually build it up in 3 dimensions with what's called a 3D printer. This is an Objet Eden 500 printer, the largest you can get in the Eden series from Objet. And this is one example of many different kinds of 3-dimensional printers. And the beauty of 3D printing today is you can actually take an idea, put it in CAD, and print it out, and you can touch it in your hands within a matter of hours. And I'll just pass a couple of these items around so you can get a sense for what it is that you can print. So this can come off the printer. You build it in CAD during the day, you put it on the printer at night, come back the next morning, it's waiting on you. You can actually build embedded gears that all work together with 5/1000ths of separation between the gears. Remarkable things you can do in 3D printing, and I'll show you a little video at the end. We take those 3D prints to make a master for molds so that we can then go on to make a few prototypes, because these 3D prints are very good to touch, but they're not dimensionally stable at high temperatures, and they break if you drop them on a hard surface. But they make great molds. So we'll take a 3D print, like you see working with Dave here, and first of all, you'll lay out your product on top of a board. You'll use clay. It's really as much an art as it is a science to do these tool developments. And then you'll pour, up to some point, a layer of silicone rubber. So we'll cover this with silicone rubber. We'll take it off. We'll flip it over. We'll make the other side. And we have a 2-part mold. And from that, we can then separate, once we pour in our castings, the actual part that we're building. So we've gone from an idea to a print to a mold to a casted part in only 48 hours. The old days of long manufacturing processes are gone. Next picture. Once you have that mold, you'll fill it up with some sort of a 2-part rosin. You can make cast parts that are rubbery and they're very flexible. I can make parts for a mask, for example. I can make very hard parts. I can make them clear or opaque. This actually is a very interesting product we made for the folks at Aviagen, where you scoop up chicken guts and you sift it like this, and depending upon how many worms are left, they decide to sell you the chicken or not. So all sorts of different possibilities coming up. How many people bought chicken for lunch today? All right. Next slide. I wish you'd never invited me, Dave. So that product, then once you have cast all those different parts, after making them in 3D, coming out of plastic turns into one of these. And so this is a detection system that's used to put in remote spots that allows you to take pictures and send data back. And it's just one example of many products that we've designed and built depending upon the requirement. The customer lays the requirement out and we build a product around the requirement. Next slide. Now, we're not the only guys who do this. How many people have seen The Avengers? Okay, how many Iron Man? Okay, so we've seen some Iron Man. So the rest of you are totally clueless what I'm talking about. All right. So Robert Downey Jr. stars in a really neat movie called Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2, and then Iron Man becomes a major figure in The Avengers. Anybody grew up reading Marvel comics? Admit it? All right, good. All right. So in the entertainment industry, they need to turn an idea around very, very quickly, and that's the same thing that we do. And I'm going to let you watch a fun video that just validates what I've just told you. Not here then.
Lost World. We had a really high-profile client come to us. Is that everything that we needed to express in a physical world needed to come across with the exact designs and the detail that all their clients were used to playing the video games. After meeting with the Service Bureau, we were introduced to the object line of eating.
Same product we use.
And we gave a character up just to get one back to see what could come out of it, and we were instantly away, and it sealed the deal. The detail that we got out of all of our applications in-house came across and translated into print, and we knew instantly this was the way to go, and this is how we were going to be doing all of our business from this day forward. The campaign was a huge success, won numerous awards at cons, won some Clios, and every project that's come in-house, we've utilized this technology through a Service Bureau. It got to the point where we realized how quick the turnaround was on these machines and what it could help and add to our design process and how to figure out things that we could add and throw on top to the clients. We brought an Eden in-house about 4.5 months ago. It's been running nonstop for us. Things that we didn't even think of are coming out of this technology. We prepare for meetings, for pitches. We're putting characters in people's hands within 24 hours. Things that we never even thought of, rather than just popping out a character for a final piece. It's now in our brainstorming sessions. We're building ideas off of it. All the artists are coming together, seeing what was able to come out of. None of our artists have to hold back anymore and worry about detail that's not going to be translated and lost and forgotten. The object does everything that we needed to do without any sacrifices being taken. Anything that we can think of, anything that we can put on a computer monitor, the object Eden 260V can make in the real world within hours. With today's deadlines in the commercial world, this product allows us to keep picking out many iterations of what we need to do. One thing that caught us off guard with having the Eden 260V in-house is our clients were literally blown away by having, within 24-hour time periods, a final product in their hand for them to physically approve, rather than waiting a day to see something printed on a piece of paper, get approved, and then waiting 3 days to have it in their hand. I'll have 4 artists sitting down in the machine coming up with 4 different concepts, and within 4 hours I'll have 4 different concepts physically in my hands.
So I'll close with, you've just heard a validation from one of these movie producers that I can, in 4 hours, create a concept, 4 hours later have it in my hands, and then I can make a decision. Within a business day, you can go from an idea to CAD to print for something about the size of the product that I passed around, the little wrench, and for larger products a little bit longer. Guys, the world has changed around you. And here's the closing line of this pitch. The printing press, the telephone, and the internet represent 3 of the life-changing technology developments in the last 400 years. The printing press, the telephone, and the internet. The fourth most impactful technology development that we're going to see when you look back 50 years from now will be the advent of what we call 3D printing. 3D printing makes it possible to go from an idea to something in Walmart. Walmart actually has a program today where if you have an idea today, you can launch that idea and have it on an end cap in Walmart in a week. From first idea to end cap, they've opened up their doors to entrepreneurs. And that's the direction we're going. Manufacturing, as you know it, has changed dramatically. And the fun thing about being at LSync, the old energy, is that we're on the forefront of that today, taking products to 3 dimensions, literally innovation in 3D. We appreciate your attendance today and your attention, and I'd be glad to ask some questions if Dave thinks we have time.
Take 2. Questions? Take 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Just ballpark, if it's even a fair question, to do something like the counter-narcotic, to take it from idea to a prototype where you've got the drawings ready to be manufactured, is that a $5,000, $50,000, or $250,000 process?
I think this is this particular job is in the $50K realm. This product has 26 parts. Each of those parts will cost you a couple of $100 worth of engineering and design work. So you have 20 parts times 260. You're going to end up at $5,000 just in molds. You have about 100 hours of engineering and design time, which in the vicinity of $100, $120 an hour labor, you're around 12. So now you're up to 17. And you put some profit on that, you're somewhere around and close to 20. And then you have the manufacturing. In this case, we were asked to manufacture 25 units. So as I go back and look at, and just doing the numbers here, it probably is a lot less than 50. It's probably in the 30K realm. So, and the beauty of it is, this customer had to be at a conference tomorrow. They came to us last week, and we redesigned it. We printed all weekend. We assembled and we painted and assembled yesterday and put it in FedEx, and they're in the. So we started Friday, and they're at a conference today because with an entirely new design, completely new design. And I saw it going through the office this weekend. So we have people all the time who sends us file on the morning, and we have it ready for them that afternoon. Files come in by internet on Monday, and they're in their hands by FedEx Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, sir.
You know, this is going to be interesting. Now you can do in manufacturing what the computer caused you to do in typing letters.
That's exactly right.
You can do happy to glad and not irritate your secretary like you used to have on the carbon paper. You didn't dare screw around with something because she'd kill you or he'd kill you. Now you can do the same thing in manufacturing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
What format do you receive those files in? Somebody goes through?
They're just like you do a document in PDF. They're called STL formats, and there's also other formats. We can translate a DXF into an STL. There's an interesting get off the stage, and I know Dave needs to move on. Anybody in business 30 years ago? Okay, I'm old, so I can say I was. Okay. So do you remember when people said, our computation will be done by a central facility? And then they said, we'll have one printer for the office. There'll never be a day where everybody has a printer in their office. Okay? Well, 5 years ago, people said there'll never be a day when we have 3D printers in every office. And if you look at laser printers and you do the same kind of translation forward, it is not beyond the realm of possible that 15 years from now, virtually all businesses that are in the business of a product will have 3D printers on virtually every desk. Because you can test it out, try it out, do happy to glad, just like you said, and then boom, you're off and running, and you can so quickly get to market, because it's all about be first or be best. Thank you, Dave.
Wow, thank you.
So, we like to make a good impression on our customers, and so for those who are left and want to get the last that there are, we have Energy Silly Putty to make a good impression upon our customers.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here today.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay.